Shalom. Back out here again. Out here again. About to get started here. Let's get straight into it. As usual, man. No, it ain't no beating around the bush. You know, we're gonna get straight into these scriptures, these precepts, these prophecies. Before I get started, I give all praise and glory to our everything, our shop, our dust. And like I said, man, it's time to get straight into it. No more forcing around, playing around, bro. We fastly approaching the day of the Lord. Trying to see how I'm set my stick up here. Yeah, I definitely need my phone right here. You know, I got much space. I don't want nobody bothering me. So let's get into it. Man, that sun beaming. Whew, shit. Well, as you see, this week it's a little bit of run. You know, prophecies unfolded. You know, the prophecies unfolded, man. Now we've been telling y'all for years that this day was coming, and now here we are in the midst of World War III. You know, but as usual, nobody paying attention. Nobody really cares. You know? But you're gonna care real soon though. Once them draft papers go out. A lot of y'all gonna get drafted. I got it all in my face. Yeah, a lot of y'all gonna get drafted. You know, men and women. Because they need bodies, soldiers for World War III. You got China saying they backing Iran, Russia said they backing Iran, Pakistan said they ready. You know, matter of fact, Pakistan is calling on all Arab nations to get behind them. Oh yeah, don't forget Turkey has stepped in too. And all this got to do with Ezekiel 38, man. Everybody's choosing sides of this war. They want to, what side they want to be on. You know, so Trump playing stupid, like he's so diplomatic. You know, he gonna give it 2 weeks. You know, he's still trying to work a deal. His mind is already made up. You know, he's just playing games out here. You know, Trump is a great liar. You know, so his mind is made up. Whatever Israel want to do, he's all for it, man. Israel got the U.S. and Trump in their back pocket, you know? So he's giving you a false sense of hope that, oh man, you know, I've tried everything I could possibly do to make this peace deal happen. When the whole time, when me and the Lord, we know, man, the man he's just lying through his damn teeth. And then he can't offset the prophecies anyway. As the scriptures say, the Most High, he said he has, you know, he let me get that precept roughly paraphrasing. Let me see if I can think about it. So this heat getting my this sun messing up my concentration. But you know, he says the king hearts in the Most High's hand, meaning your mind. You know, so he can do whatever he wants to with you at any given moment, man. And so Trump, he can't change his mind on World War III. You know, he doesn't have the mind or the willpower to do it because he got to fill out the Lord's will. So you can't say Trump has been chosen by the Lord, by God. So has Putin, so has GGP, and Calamini. All these guys been selected by the Most High to do His bidding, and that's a usher in World War III. Netanyahu. He hell bent on taking y'all to war, man, and he's gonna get his way. So like I said, man, the draft is coming. Netanyahu needs soldiers to fight his battle, man. Because he's not only going up against Iran, he's gonna be going up against Russia too. NATO and the EU is gonna step in eventually. So hey, count it all joy, man. Count it all joy. So Ezekiel 38 is in full effect, man. We just waiting for the US to finally strike. Who knows? They may have already been striking Iran. They're not gonna tell you the truth until after. They'll come out later and tell you if they struck Iran or not. Now, we really don't know. We can only go by what they report on the news. And you know how cloudy that can get. So no matter what, we know through the prophecies, that's going to be World War III. That we do know. And we know who the players are, who the major players are. And we know how the ending is going to be. We know who's going to lose. And we know who's going to win. There's got to be a loser. There's got to be a winner, right? So the scriptures say, hey, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that followers, man. So once this society goes down, this kingdom goes down, then Jake comes up. You so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, you gonna come up, man. And Shawty, we done came up. That's how it's gonna be, coming out them chariots, man. Or getting beamed up into the chariot. You done came up then. There's no more guessing. When the kingdom's gonna be. Who's the Lord's chosen people. At that moment, in that twinkling of an eye, you're gonna know who the Lord chose for. And the whole time, you thought it was those people in Israel right now. You're gonna be sailing this way. It's gonna be egg on a lot of people's faces. Let's get to these precepts. This is Psalms 102 and 7. I watch and am as a sparrow alone upon the housetop. So yeah, I stand as a sparrow alone, man. Stand up on the housetop, watching. Hey, like that bird chirping. I'm right along the same lines, man. I'm chirping up here, singing a song. That new song. When you go into that word new, it means refreshed. So I'm singing this refreshed new song. That hey, World War III is here. The elect is gonna make it out of here, man. That you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true biblical Israelites. And the Lord and His Father, who you usually call God and Jesus, are so-called black men. They're not pale, if you will. You've been told your whole life a lie. See what they did around the Renaissance period is something called iconoclasm. They painted all the saints, so far white. Starting with Michelangelo. So he went around and changing the prophets, man, the saints, turning them white. And I ain't talking about Drew Brees and them other clowns down there, you know. But the true saints, the Israelites, you know, we have been whitewashed, man. And so everybody look at us like we some imposters, but really, the true imposters are in Israel right now, man. They're not following the laws, statutes, commandments. They got a secular government over there in Israel. You still got men walking around with no beards, you know. They got even kosher pork over there in Israel, man. Who the fuck? How can you get kosher pork? You got Pink City over there, and you already know what that means. But if you point these things out, then you anti-S, man. They want to deem you anti-Sem, that is wrong. What the hell is a Sem? It's the word should be Shem. Because all people come from three men: Ham, Shem, and Japheth. So it should be anti-Shem. But hey, they the chosen people, so you can't tell them that. Let them tell it. We wrong and they right. Time is gonna tell who been right the whole time, and approaching that day very fast. As you see, it's a whole damn firework display going on in Israel right now, man. That Iron Dome ain't so iron no more. It's more like a tin dome, an aluminum dome. So I'm on top of that housetop, man, looking, warning, say, hey, man, the day of the Lord, the wrath of the Lord is coming. Peace about peace. And he on his way to the emergency room tonight, Jake, man. But come on, let's get some more precepts, man. Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms. So we prophesying against great kingdoms right now. We're telling you this whole American empire, we're telling you it's about to go down as it collapse, fall. This whole Western civilization, man, it's about to just disappear. This is a failed experiment. This whole Roman Greco ideology, man, it ain't working. Why? Because it breeds number wicked. There's too many laws. Adding laws. Man, there's so many laws on the books. It's more laws than the damn law, statute, commandments that the Most High gave, man. We only got 613. There's thousands of laws on the books, man. And I'm just being generous. But there's no law telling you where you got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. There's no law on that.
For that, you'll need to connect to a Wi-Fi network first.
It says, and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So yeah, just like the prophets before, man. I told you about war. I'm telling you again, man. It's war season. It is war time, man. And ain't no turning back. There's no peace coming. It's just strictly war, man. You know, there's no olive branch of peace coming to this place or the world. You know, you gonna know it's not any peace when them draft papers coming in your mailbox, man. Telling your sons, your kids or your grandkids, man, they got to get ready to ship out. Your U.S. government needs you, man. Uncle Sam needs you. He needs you to fight this battle. You know, everybody like to say they like to stand behind Israel. Let's see if you stand behind them when your kids start coming back. Well, if they, once World War III goes hot, they ain't coming back. Or you gonna get us a flag? And once your ass gets shipped off to the Middle East, to the Levant, you ain't coming back. You gonna come back reincarnated somewhere. You gonna come back. You ain't gonna be able to get on a C-17 or a C-130 and fly your ass back home, man. You know, your body's gonna be an ornament with the desert out there. You know, so all you tough guys, all you UFC wannabes, all you militiamen, you gonna soon have your day. You know, you soon gonna have your day, man. You're gonna have to use your skills, man, what you've been training for all these years, man. Cause yeah, civil war is coming. You know, speaking about evil times, man. Civil war is coming. Race wars, class wars. You know, so there's gonna be a lot of killing, a lot of murdering going on, man. You know, and I'm just putting it lightly. I know you like to listen to Fox News and CNN, listen to the eloquent, you know, uh, reporters, things like that with the eloquent speech. You know, well, man, oh Lord, we're gonna give it to you blunt. Man. You about to, you about to meet your maker. You know, I'm not gonna spend 30 minutes on one subject, talking about absolutely nothing. You know, they got a lot of, they like to beat around the bush on the news, man. You know, you can't say this, you might offend somebody. Can't say that, you're gonna offend this group. But the man of the Lord, we don't care, man. And me myself personally, I don't care either. You know, I'm gonna tell you how it is. You're gonna get the sugar and the salt, man, all at the same time. But the sugar is roughly, let's say it's mostly for Israel, man. You know, the sweet and the bitter, sweet and the honey, letting you know that we're gonna get the kingdom. We about to come up, but the salt is for everybody else, man. You're gonna be slaves in our kingdom, man. After the dust is settled, the nukes then got shot off. We gotta have slaves, man, to build up our kingdom. And the scripture said, "Who leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity." Man. You know, that's the patience of the saints. That's what we patiently waiting on. Payback. So let's read that over. It's Jeremiah 28 and 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So yeah, you see all kind of pestilence going on out here too, man. You got Bill Gates Steady cooking up diseases in his labs. You know, one thing was the Mpox that was real hot for a moment. Ebola. You know, what's that other one? Marburg. That was pretty hot for a second, but they're gonna come back. You know, they already drumming up that sea again. So all kind of festivals going on. You know, they had the cicadas. I believe that's how you pronounce it. You know, they was swarming, eating crops not too long ago. But eventually, it's going to intensify, man. It's going to be very intense. You're going to know there's a higher power, man, that's doing this. You know, it's not going to be just a random event, a fluke. You know, let's get that Ecclesiastes. It's Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the sun. So yeah, there's a reason or a season to everything, man. You know, it was a season we went into slavery, time after time. Then it was a season where we got out of slavery. You know, if that can happen to the Lord's chosen, what makes you think that can't happen to you, man? You know, if you outside these people on this sun. You know, so we had our season. We got our ass kicked. We did our bid, man. Our sentence almost up. You know, almost free. Jump down to verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Well, there's no time of peace right now, man. The other half of the globe is all about war, and eventually it spreads to this side of the ocean, man. You know, you got Israel and Iran, Ukraine, Russia, India was going at it. You know, so everybody's really gearing up for war. Nobody's playing patty cake and watching football, man. You know, on the other side of earth, man, people are having real discussions, you know, about contingency plans, you know, telling their people to stock up on iodine pills. You know, there's the talk of nuclear war on the other side of the planet. And they actually preparing. I can't remember if it's Germany or Switzerland, but they feeling like 100 bunkers, you know, on top of the bunkers that they have for their citizens. Who the hell building our bunkers over here for us? Let me guess, nobody. But one thing you know for sure, your government officials, the people you love and you know you willing to die for, these politicians, they got their tickets to these bunkers. But they gonna leave your ass on top of the earth to burn to a crisp, man. You know they got the access codes passes to these fallout shelters. Cheyenne Mountain. But as for you, you American, you don't have anything. All you got is a mega hat. That was that was made in China, man. That's all you got. Trump don't mind going to war, you know, because he knows, you know, he can go hide in one of these bunkers that they got built. You know, so is he telling his fan base that? You know, Netanyahu. He always at his military bunker. So all these people that starting the war got somewhere to go. But all you cheerleaders, we don't have nowhere to hide when these thermonuclear missiles get shot off, man. Even though a lot of them gonna die in these bunkers, but they still think they can escape. Yeah, this nuclear war that's coming. They think they still can survive it. But you everyday Americans, you don't stand a chance. Man. You can't hyper, outrun a hypersonic cruise missile, man. Or you can't outrun Satan 2, what Russia called one of their nuclear missiles, man. They're not gonna put up with this shit much longer, man. They tired of America, you know. And Iran in the Middle East is fucking part of they tired of Israel, man. Big Satan and little Satan, is what they call them. So everybody realizing who the problem in the earth is. Here it is, Russia. They so-called white people, but they don't like the West. They don't like you so-called white people, and they white, so-called white. The Russians, they work with everybody, man. The so-called Africans, so-called Indian, Vietnamese. So hey, we think through the spirit, though, believe through the spirit that some of those Russians are Israelites, man, because they ain't like these so-called white people over here, and in Britain, and the UK, and shit like that, and Europe. They're a little different. So they could be could be some of them are us, but the exact number I don't have that. So let's go to Jeremiah 30. It's Jeremiah 34. And these words that Yahweh was speaking, read that over. Jeremiah 30 and 4. And these are the words that Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah, both the northern and the southern kingdom. For you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the southern kingdom. These folks, man, me out. I'm at 28 minutes. Verse 5, thus says Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Yeah, because there's no peace in the earth, man. I thought they was the chosen people. If they're the chosen people, why is there so much war on the earth going on, man? The scriptures say when the chosen, the true Israelites get in that land, it'll be no more war. So why are we still having wars if they're the chosen people? Answer me that. Why you need an iron dome if you're the chosen people? Where's your God, man? Where's your power? The scriptures say every time where the Most High went to battle for us, man. You know? You know? So what is the one you call God? I guess he just sit back, sleep, He don't see that they getting attacked over there in Israel. He's asleep at the wheel. No, that ain't the case. We got like I brought out earlier, man, we got some imposters, and the Lord ain't dealing with that. You know, still got women wearing pants over there, walking around on their cycles, touching everything, making everything unclean. Hell, you even got women in the military over there, man. There's no account throughout biblical history where women went to war with us, man. It's always the men that go to war. You know, I can go on and on and on, man. So yeah, there's no peace going on. So you can get up there talking about peace in the Middle East, and you know it don't matter what you say, man. Prophecy is gonna be fulfilled. Israel gonna get nuked, and America's gonna get nuked, man. So if I was you, I'd be trying to get the hell out of here, because this place is gonna get nuked, man. The Russians are gonna shoot nukes on this fucking place. You know, this Revelation 11 and 14. The second war is past. Behold, third war coming quickly. Yeah, the third world war coming quickly. The second destruction that already has passed. War meaning destruction. It already passed, man. World War II is come and gone. So World War III coming quickly. And we're in the beginning stages of it going hot, man. Because eventually this is going to turn into a ground war, man. where I said earlier, Russia, Ukraine, not Ukraine, but Russia, North Korea, China, India, Turkey. All these people going to go to war against America, man, and its allies and Israel, man. And it's not going to be done to stop. I don't care how much you get on your knees tonight and try to pray. Oh Jesus, please don't let it be a war. Pray over Trump. Hope he has the right decision. It ain't gonna do any good, man. The Lord's gonna make Trump do what the hell he want him to do, man. And he want him to get this World War III going. So the third war coming quick. So we're in the middle of World War III, man. They just ain't announced it yet. Everybody knows in politics, prime minister, president, that World War III is going on right now. There's no mistaking the time we're in right now. And what's his face, Albert Pike. So they won the Third World War, man, where it's gonna be between, Zionists and pretty much the Arabs, man. So all this is tying in together, man. All this is tying in together. All of the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. If you can't see the times that we in right now, then the Lord ain't dealing with you, bro. You sleep, like the scriptures say. You're in a deep sleep, a deep slumber. When I first came into the truth, And I was hearing about Israel doing the work, reading it in the prophecies, reading it in the book, in the Bible, and and, and actually starting to see it unfold. It's surreal, you know. You know, everybody ought to talk about the Bible. Oh, it's fake, man-made. Man wrote that book. What man didn't write the book? Any book, man. Make that make sense. You know, and the crazy part about it, this was already declared before these words were written, man. So everybody like to shit on the Bible and say, oh, it just made up. The white man wrote that book. It seems like y'all wrong again, man. You are wrong again. If we so crazy, you know, why is that there's a whole people pretending to be the people then? If this Bible was so fake, if it was just a fairy tale book, why is it so important to be in that land? Why is it so important to take on the identity of the true biblical Israelites? Because unlike you people, the people who actually got a brain, actually do research and homework, they know about prophecy, man. They get on TV and put their degrees up and all this kind of stuff. But I'm talking about like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, man. They know both sides of this. Yeah, they worship Satan, but they also believe there's a power, man. They know there's a God. Because hey, when it boils down to it, it's all about the birthright, man. They want our birthright, but they can't have it. Esau sold his birthright, man. He gave it up. Because hey, you try to say Jacob supplanted him. No, you didn't want it from the beginning. You said, what's the use of having a birthright, man, if you about to die of hunger? Let's bring that back up. And even if you did want the birthright, the Most High, you was rejected, man. You was rejected from the beginning. The Lord already had somebody he wanted to get the birthright, man. To inherit the kingdom of heaven, to live forever, to rule forever, And that's these people on this sign, man. The people on this sign are going to inherit the kingdom of heaven, man. And we're going to be the rulers, and everybody else going to be our slaves, man, for 1,000 years. So if you don't go back to these people on this sign, it ain't gonna work out for you. We're gonna have that living forever on spiritual powers, man. Can't die, can't get sick, don't get old. How we gonna have that youthful appearance? Where we gonna? Damn, I wish I could find that precept. Lord willing, I'll be able to get it. Where it talks about how we gonna have that youthful look in the kingdom of heaven, man. We're gonna look like we, 16, 17 years old. Forever, man. We're gonna have that beautiful, youthful glow, man. But we're gonna be like old as hell though, but look young. Can you imagine living 800, 900, you know, 2,000 years, never dying. Can you wrap your mind around that, man? But that's what's been promised to these people in this sign, man. You so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. We've been promised eternal life, you know, and we always gonna be on top, bro. No more slavery. No more slavery, man. No more jobs. Everybody gonna have to kiss our ass, man. You know? Ain't gonna be no more working on these jobs no more, man. We're gonna be writing the checks, man. Cutting the checks. Not that first 1,000 years anyway. That's gonna be all free labor. That first 1,000 years, you know. That's on the house. You owe that to us, man. And we're gonna enjoy life, man. We finally gonna get to enjoy life. We ain't got to worry about getting rounded up, you know. We ain't got to worry about no fucking ice, you know, no getting hauled off into slavery again. We ain't got to worry about that no more, man. You know, walking down the street, cops watching you, ready to shoot you. You know, your own brother trying to kill you. All that's gonna go away, man. You know that vexation between the two kingdoms gonna go away too, man. You know, we're gonna be one nation again, man. Or we're gonna be one nation. There ain't gonna be no split in the kingdom. You know, we all gonna come together. We gonna all be known as Israel, man. You know, so those days are coming, man. And with this World War III, with this war with Iran and Iran and Israel, you know, that just means things are speeding up, man. We getting closer and closer to that day. You know, so I'm all for war, man. You know, if you ask me, they ain't doing enough. They need to shoot more missiles. You know, the Russians need to send more missiles to Iran. The U.S. need to send Israel more more missiles and bunker busters, whatever they need over there, man. You ready to get the hell out of here? I got a whole kingdom waiting on me. You know, a whole kingdom. You know, doing what the hell I want to do when I want to do it. You know, and righteousness, of course. You know, ain't gonna be no wicked shit going on in the kingdom with Israel. We all gonna be righteous. We all gonna keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly, man. You know, so I'm ready. I'm ready to get to this kingdom. You know, saying no more count your money. You always gotta count your money, see how much you got left, how much you got to last to the next week. You got this bill coming in. Man, that shit old, man. I'm done with these paying bills shit, you know? Kind of doing taxes every fucking year. I'm done with that too. You know, you heathens gonna be paying us tribute in the kingdom, man. You gonna be bringing us your money, your You know, say our gates are gonna be open continually, man. You constantly gonna be bringing us gold, diamonds, and silver, man. You know, the finest spices, hey, and the best women, man. We're gonna have the best women of y'all too. You know, cause hey, you can't be a king without a concubine, man. We're gonna have concubines and wives. You know, so let me pick it up a little bit. Fear hit me there for a little bit. You know, let's go to Joel 3, man. This is the book of Joel 3, start at verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the hey, prepare for war, man. This is Joel 3 and 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, the soldiers, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Let them come up to what, man? The Middle East, the Levant. And we talking about you heathen Gentiles on this one, man. You other nations. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. And let the weak say I'm strong. So yeah, all your agricultural items, you know, they get rid of all that, man. You know, and turn that into swords and missiles and guns, man. You know, turning hooks into spears. You can say a modern day missile or rocket is a spear. Just let the weak say I'm strong. Yeah, because you got countries like North Korea say they ready for war, man. China, Russia, all these people is considered weak, but they say I'm strong now, man. Why? Because they got the whole piece to having power on the chessboard, man. That's nuclear missiles. You know, these other countries got nuclear missiles, man. America's not the only one with nuclear capabilities. And you got their biggest enemy, Russia, with the most nuclear weapons. Man. So they got more than the U.S. You know, they really, we take that for a grain of salt because they never gonna tell you the entire arsenal that they have. You know, so if Russia's saying they got more, and they probably got double the amount they saying that they have, man. Or who knows? It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about hither, because thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. So yeah, those mighty ones talking about the angels, they're gonna come down, man. They're gonna get busy during this third world war, man. They crazy sitting up under that tree, man. You in the death zone. So yeah, angels gonna get busy in this war, man. Now, just think about how it's gonna be a dog fight in heaven, in the heavens, man. Well, they don't say dog fight, but it's gonna be a war in the heavens, and that's a dog fight, man. These fighter jets, you know, that movie Independence Day, man. They telling you, when they was fighting each other, Will Smith and shit like that. That's what's gonna happen in real life, man. The Lord's gonna have his angels coming back, ready for war. Hey, how you doing? All right now. Yeah, so they're gonna come back. They're not coming back to play games. Man. At that moment they done talking. That's an Israelite right there. Man. You see, that's Jake. You know, Northern Kingdom. He's gonna be alright in the kingdom. No matter what, we still gonna get the kingdom of heaven, man. No matter what, we still gonna get it. But hey, we might not make it on this round, man. Who knows? The Lord might make some things happen for him. I don't know. But all I can do is stay worried about what I'm doing right now, man. Pushing his word. It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. In the Hebrew, Yahweh Shabbat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And Yahweh Shabbat, meaning Yahweh's judgment. He's going to judge all the heathen in the Middle East. You can think about how the blood is going to be up to the horse's bridle, man. That's how much blood is going to be. It says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Yeah, all those heathens spoken about in Ezekiel 38. The Lord's going to judge them all, man. And like I said earlier, once you go to the Middle East, once you get your orders to get shipped out, you're not going to make it back, man. You're not going to make it back. Because the Lord promised the birds a feast. And you're going to be part of that feast, man. I forget where in Revelation where he said, pretty much, those birds are going to eat your flesh over there, man, in that desert. So, hey, whatever the Lord promised, man, you're going to stick to his promise. If he said he promised the birds a feast, they're going to get a feast, man. There ain't no way getting around that. Hey, the Lord says, the Most High say, hey, he can't swear on nobody higher than him, man. He swear on himself. So it's going to happen. Verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. So yeah, just put the sickle there, man. It's time to ripe. It's time to put you to the test, man. We're talking about how the press is full. And that's you people being symbolic of grapes and a wine press, man. How people, back in the days, they get all the grapes in there and they get the women to step on it, they crush the grapes to make the wine. But now they got like a press these days where you can put it in there and you can turn it or spin it some kind of way, or they got different kind of machines to do it. But in that process, while you squeezing them grapes, back in the old days, your clothes would get stained in the blood of the grape. So he's being symbolic, saying, or poetic, the same thing's gonna happen, but it's gonna be humans, instead. You know, there's gonna be a lot of bloodshed going on. You know, hey, it is what it is, bro. This is the Most High story, man. Whatever he want to do, he can do it. I don't feel no type of way about it. I don't say, Lord, why can't you just save him, Lord? You know, um, Most High raised me up to come out here and tell you what the hell he gonna do, and not to sugarcoat it, man. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. He didn't send me out here to catch Philip. He sent me out here to be strictly business. Man. And scripture say, give them warning to me. But I'm still the messenger. Let's go to verse 14. Multitude, multitude in the valley of decision. So the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Yeah. And that's, known as Armageddon. The valley of, like I said, valley of Jehoshaphat, man, Yahweh Shabbat. There's to be multitudes of mountain of troops over there, man. It's gonna be a mountain of troops in the Middle East. Somehow, this war is gonna switch over in the Saudi Arabia area, man. Once this Israel and Iran war gets hot, once ground troops start coming in, somehow it's gonna switch over to Saudi Arabia, and then so you're gonna have the gathering all the troops, and then that's where the blessing takes place, man. The most casualties of war. That's where you're gonna see even when I call Jesus come back, man. Scripture speaks about how Yahweh Shai is gonna be on a UFO so big, they thought it was a damn mountain, man. Edris thought it was a mountain, how big it was when he came back. You know? Not only he's gonna be in it, he's gonna be on top of that motherfucker, man. Just like Jake showing out, man. Showing. He's gonna be on top of that so-called UFO, man. And he's gonna be sitting there witnessing the battle, witnessing the war that's going on. Because you can't be a man of war just sitting up in the heavens chilling, man. You got to look at the battlefield, man. That's how ancient kings used to do it. You're gonna have this right hand man, Michael, giving out the calls, man. Yahweh Shai gonna give the orders. Angel, Michael Allah is gonna give the orders, man. Because you can't be a king without any wartime experience, man. Not like the ones today where they sit back 2,000-3,000 miles from the battle. Ancient kings used to get in there with that sword, man, and put that work in. But today, you got these soft politicians, man. They talk real tough, but you ain't gonna find them on the battlefield, though, man. They're gonna be somewhere in the situation room, watching it all go down. But ancient men used to get out there, man, and swing that damn sword. You know? And I'm talking about the kings, man. They used to get out there and get busy, bro. So when you proclaim war, that was a serious time, man. You just don't throw that word around lightly, you know. But when you sit back like a bitch in an office somewhere, you can just say, "Oh, let's go to war. Let's do the war." When you ain't got to do the killing, you know, that's easy to say. But when your ass got to get out there with that helmet, you think twice about that shit, you know. Hey, like I said, Saul killed thousands, but David killed thousands of thousands, you know. Hey, them was some real men. They put in that work, you know. Hell, Solomon was a bad man, you know. Not only you have the power to rule, but hey, you got to get your hands dirty, man. You got to put your work. You got to put your own work in. And Howard Shine knows this, man. And that's why he's coming back in the midst of the battle. And he said, he will not meet you as a man. You know, he's going to witness the battles going on. You know, he's going to be on the battlefield. You know, hey, like I said, man, Lord willing, I'm on that number of that 144,000, man. I just pray I'm able to come out them chariots, man, and get busy with them, bro. You know, I pray that I'm part of that 144,000, man. That come down out them fucking chariots and start cracking some damn bones, man. Snapping some milk, you know, pulling your damn spine out your damn body, man. You know, you don't like some like on the movies, man, high fiving, you know, out there on the field, man, pulling them damn elite out these military bunkers, man. Pulling out these kings and these princes and these government officials, man, pulling their ass out of these bunkers and out the space station. You know, it's gonna be, you know, the nation of Israel gonna clean house, man. You know how everybody gets scared when corporate come down. So the Howard Shine's coming back, man, and you can't even measure what type of power he's coming back with, man, and the type of fear he's gonna generate. So how you niggas afraid of corporate? Think about your Howard Shine on a number you can't even comprehend coming back. But hey, it's gonna be good times after that, man. It's gonna be some great, wonderful times after that. It's gonna be wonderful times, you know. Hey, Lord willing, I better get my hands dirty, man. You know, just some you dirty. You know, that type of time. You know, hey, I'm joking. You know, having a little chuckle with it, but hey, you know, I'm dead ass serious, bro. I want to be able to come in there and snatch the motherfucker out that bunker, snatch them out their clothes, man. Snatch the damn heathen out their fucking shoes, bro. You know, when you're growing up, watching X-Men, Superman, and all that, you know, I got some things that I want to do, you know, that I always thought about wanting to do, man. And I remember growing up, you know, you had these dreams that you flying, stuff like that. And fast forward to coming in this truth, man. Hey, like they say, man, how they put it. Damn, I can't think of that saying, though. But who would have thought, man, it was actually real. It actually could be done. You know? That's why Jake is always infatuated with Superman and superhero type shit, man. Man. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out, bro. And I'm gonna go home and check out the news. See what's going on with these wars, man. You know, see if they shot any more missiles on Israel. Israel shot any more missiles on Iran. And I kind of been checking up on the riot too. You know, they still acting a fool out there in LA, man. So hey, man, we leaning, we going head first in the Civil War, race wars, man. Martial law. You know, everything's right on track, man. On schedule. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, though. But Lord willing, I'm gonna get back to the house. I'm gonna check some of these videos out, jump on the live, and see what's going on with these protests. You know, beautiful times we in right now, man. Let me go ahead and close it out, though. But before I get out of here, though, I'm gonna give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kapardash. And Lord willing, I'll be out next week. You know? You know, who knows? Let's see what the weekend's gonna bring, man. Let's see what the weekend's gonna bring. Yeah, some shit, man, popped up already. You know? So we'll check the news on the way back. Hey, man, Jake, you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, man. Hey, grace is almost running out, man. That door is gonna close. That spiritual ark, that door on that ark is gonna close on you. You're gonna be stuck out here in the elements, man. And what I mean by that, there's gonna be no more grace, and Jacob's trouble gonna be on you like a wet blanket. So keep playing around, keep pushing putting the word off. Stop, still putting off from day to day. Eventually, you're gonna get caught out here, man. You know, like I said, I'm gonna get on out of here, man. If I get out here, let me get that again. Give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Let me start over. Let me slow it down. Giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Kakodash, Shalom.